Gentlemen, welcome Lions. As we have another couple of Lions trickle on in. I know a couple of guys messaged me saying they're going to be a little late today. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, Mr. Brown showing up. Actually amazing. That's actually what I was just about to say right now, is that we're going to have some people on the call today. We're going to have some and before I go, now that Mr. Brown's on the call, for all of those, we got Julian in the house as well too. For all of those that are in California right now, our prayers go out to you. Some of that shit is crazy what I'm seeing online. Like that stuff, it looks like it's in a movie. Like it looks not even real on how much stuff is crypt. So for those guys out there, man, stay strong. Our prayers go out for you as well too. And thank you for all of us joining today, because today's going to be an epic episode, gentlemen. I did mention that I was going to have a special guest on. Unfortunately, the schedules did not correspond and we do not have that special guest. So I am going to see who my special guest is, because I'm going to be calling you guys out later on. And I want us all to chime in, because today's topic is going to be quite interesting. Today's topic is really going to be positioning right. And not when I say positioning right, I'm talking about something big. But before we get there, I just want to say one thing. Today, I want to share a quick story. And I want this to be kind of a preset of what we talk about today in terms of wealth transfer, in terms of money flow, in terms of what's happening in the world right now, economically and geographically and geopolitically, you could say, and how that's going to make a big difference. But before I do, I want to just share a quick story. I've been trying to set up a call with this gentleman, and this gentleman got set up through a mutual connection. I think JC connected with him at a conference. We've been doing this for back and forth for a couple of months now, to be honest. November, December, we had a booked call. We didn't have a booked call. I missed one. He missed one. It's just been back and forth, back and forth. What's so crazy is that God positions things the right way, doesn't he? Because what happened was we jumped on a call today. It was only about a 10-minute phone call, mind you guys, 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, I quickly realized the man is raising about $110 million in Texas for a hotel project, selling blocks at about $50,000. Quick 10-minute conversation, but just opened up such a massive conversation. 3 months we've been trying to set up a call. Today we got on a call. $110 million equity raise that they're looking at. And now I'm signing an NDA, and I'm going to now start to know all the underwriting process and seeing everything. So what does that mean? First of all, we're going to talk a little bit about wealth transfer. We're going to talk about the money flow and how much is moving, especially in a time like today. But outside of that, the moral of that story is sharing that with you is if you are open to it and you're open to a conversation, one conversation can change the trajectory of your life. Like I even last week talked to you guys about raising $100 million. We got a client of ours that wants to scale to 200 million now. He's at about 35 million now. We have some certain steps. There's other players that are coming into the game. Then I got on a call with one of my mentors. And he's like, yeah, Jay, we're looking at raising 100 billion in the next 5. And I was like, shit, man, I'm still thinking too small. I'm still thinking too small. And why I say that is because there is so much money in the supply chain at the moment right now. $32 trillion plus are being handed down through various industries right now. And if we are positioned correctly, we need to be on top of it. We need to be on top of it in our own ways, at our own levels. I'm not saying, put $1 billion together and let's go do it. If we could, yeah, sure, we could do that. But what I do want to position us for is to start to understand what it means for a wealth transfer to take place, what it means with big, massive industries that are coming in. And when I'm talking about industries, guys, I'm talking about deal flow. I'm talking about real estate as a whole itself. Vanguard, BlackRock, they're projected to be owning 70% of the homes in the US by 2030. Think about that for a second. Real estate is hot. We got crypto that's hot right now. Crypto is moving. You got a lot of backbone in with Bitcoin, with even some of the altcoins and what's happening with some of the exchanges. You got XRP, Ripple coming in. You have a lot of players that are coming in. AI is now even transitioned outside of AI, guys. It's no longer AI anymore. It's ASI. It's not artificial intelligence. It's artificial super intelligence. Just the last couple of days, CES was taking place. I'm a member of CES. I actually missed the conference this year because of everything that we were doing in business-wise here in Tampa. But I got some insights within CES, and I'm sure you guys have been paying attention to the news. CES released some incredible things. You had NVIDIA with their GB10 chip, microchips that are 10 times, 100 times the computing power that we know as our phones and our laptops. Like, start to understand the computing power. It is now artificial super intelligence. It's now technology that can now think on its own. It can now self-automate itself, self-autonomous, I should say. Not even just vehicles driving themselves anymore. I'm talking about a whole different scale, a whole different scale. So before I get into that tonight, first and foremost, I just want to say welcome, Lions. Welcome to the Lions Den. This is what we do every single Thursday. I see everyone coming in. I see you, Julian. I see you, Keyshawn, Welbert, Felipe, Brian's in the house, Dustin, my man, Ron, John Rosa. Haven't seen you in a while, man. Good seeing you. Gentlemen, we come here every single Thursday because what we do here at 8 p.m. is simply based on 3 simple words: brotherhood, blessings, and breakthroughs. The brotherhood is the bond between men. The only time you look down at a man is when you're picking him back up. The blessings from above. God has given us this life, so be grateful for it, and let's do something with it. And of course, the breakthroughs. It may be something I say today. It may be something another lion says, but be open and receptive to learning and growing from a breakthrough. Could change the whole trajectory. Today, I want to talk specifically about this tech switch off that's happening, because there's things like the dot-com bubble back in 2000. For those that remember that, we saw the dot-com bubble because that was a huge piece that globalized our world. It allowed us to connect to the internet and countries from all over the world to be able to be connected through the World Wide Web. Now, this was very powerful because it led to so much more. And we know that. I don't have to go into, into details about how it affected us and how our computers and our cell phones have taken over. But when we're looking at artificial intelligence, we're still thinking about Chat GPT. We're still thinking like that stuff is coming in. But artificial super intelligence is a whole different game. And right now, there is a race. When I say there is a race, there is a geopolitical race right now between the countries to understand how to truly unlock ASI's capabilities when it comes to military forces. The front runner up, of course, is China. China is now making drones at the masses, dogs that have machine guns attached to them. You see some of these clips, it's incredible. And what's happening right now is we are positioning ourselves as a race to figuring out who is going to actually get the highest intelligence in ASI and to be able to position that within their military systems. The nation that can do that the fastest, quickest, and most proficient are going to be the ones that actually succeed and still become the superpower. Like there was a gentleman, he was talking about it, and he's like, just think about it. If China was able to do that, especially with our 4-year delay, having the Democrats inside the House, 4-year delay instead of actually pushing forward on these small companies. They're calling them the Magnificent Seven. We're going to talk about this later on in our call tonight. Now, I'm not here to give you advice on what to invest in, but I am here to give you some insights on things that I've been able to learn over my fundamental and my technical analysis when it comes to certain stocks and cryptos that are going to now start to move because of the way that the administration is coming in. The fact that Trump is being sworn in, it's almost the race to being the next superpower. So if the US can sustain it, great. If China were to start to come in because of how much millions that they're billions and if not trillions that they're putting in, could be an interesting play. But if we can regain control, and now within what is it? I believe it's 11 days, Mr. Trump will be sworn in. And that's going to change the trajectory on a lot of things, including financial stability, financial access, deal flow, and what's going to be available, and the trillions of dollars that are moving through business, through real estate, through the markets. And it's a matter of if we're going to be positioned the right way. So today we're going to be talking about that. Today we're going to go a little bit in depth with that. And I want to break this down because think about President Trump being sworn in. Now that's going to do a couple of things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to position the dollar correctly. It's going to position the dollar back to where it needs to be, which is, again, foreign trade. So the foreign trade itself is allowing the US now to have power, regain that power. That's a big important piece, because what that does is it changes buyer psychology. That's really what the markets are dependent on, is buyer psychology. So it's going to help influence that and give a bit more of a good feeling to people to want to invest, that uprising. So that alone is going to be a good psychological factor. The second one is industries. You're going to see industries like the real estate, like crypto, like even business. Like I have a friend of mine right now, and buys and sells businesses at the 10 to $100 million level. And this man is like, you know, what's so crazy is some of these businesses are being sold undervalued because they want to move on. They're the baby boomers and they want to exit out. Like they're selling companies at 20, 30, $50 million discounts in order to position the right way. So if you could get a hold of that, have the right knowledge, and be able to position a deal like that, it's a lot of money to be played with, a lot of money to go around. So today I really want us to just really open up that word. Last week I talked to you guys and I said, think about the word wealth. What does wealth mean to you? Today I want to start to think about how big can you think with that? Not just what it means to you, but how big can you absolutely think about that? So we're going to break that down. And of course, the opportunity is massive, gentlemen. The opportunity is massive. Raising money in this time right now, being connected with deal flow, with real estate, with opportunities is going to change the entire game of not only just the US here, but on a global scale, on how you can position yourself because of how connected we are. You know, I was just on the phone with one of my attorneys. We were talking about it. We're positioning now because I have my Canada. I'm born in Canada. I want of course, my dual citizenship here in the States when I can earn it. Once I can earn it, I will attain it. But I'm also looking at getting my UK now. You know, my fiance is from England and my mom's originally from England. So I want to try to hold 3 passports. 3 passports give me 3 access points. So again, think about opportunity as access. We're the globalized world now. We got Felipe down in Brazil right now, man. He's taking over Brazil. We got people on this call that are all over the world. We got Sunny in the house all the way from Australia. You know, we got people that are on a global scale on this call. And that's how, if we can position right and we can start to mobilize, and we can start to understand that on average, we know 64 people. And I'm sure we know a lot more with the lines on the call today. We can start to position the right deal flow and get yourself in position for this year, because I'm telling you guys, the next 4 to 8 year cycle is going to be huge. The next 4 to 8 year cycle is going to be positioned very well because of how organized they are now getting with the support that they are now bringing in. The one thing I respect about Donald Trump, I'll tell you this right now, he understands one thing that Robert Kiyosaki taught back in the day. C students hire the A students. The visionaries are the C students. He's just hiring the best. He's just hiring the smartest people. Like it's not really that rocket science. It's I have power, I have authority, I'm good at what I do as a leader, and I'm going to hire the best people around me. They're all going to be positioned right, and then we can make America great again. Like it's a very simple thing if you think about it. But one of the first things that he's going to do is the Manhattan Project. And the Manhattan Project alone, which will be most likely signed in the 11, 12 days, is going to revolve around spending a lot of capital. And I'm talking about $113 billion, $113 billion into the market within a few different areas of expertise. Number one being the development of ASI. There's 7 key players that are going to be involved in this influx. It's like banking on NVIDIA before it goes. But again, I'm not here to say it's going to be a stock that blows up, but I am telling you that the government is going to start to put money into this technology, into the smaller startup companies that already have the infrastructure. And what does this mean now for us? What does this mean now to you? This means that the biggest wealth transfer is happening now. It's not going to happen. It's not going to like one day it's going to happen. No, the biggest wealth transfer is happening right now. We're already positioning ourselves to talk to somebody about Bitcoin. Even ask me. About a year ago, I was looking at Bitcoin at 36,000, trying to buy 2 coins at that time, actually, working with a company that actually held up some of my money, unfortunately, and I couldn't buy it at the exact point that I wanted to. Nonetheless, it's 3 times the amount. This is just on a Bitcoin scale. Now I got Sid in the call right now. Sid can tell you a lot more about the crypto side and how tokenization and how real estate is changing in a whole different scale. But this is important to know because this information is readily available, but people aren't really looking at how that's going to affect them. The second thing is, like, again, where are you positioned? Now ask yourself, where are you positioned within this? With all of this happening, how informed were you on CES as a basic? As a consumer electronics show, think of yourself as a consumer. You're not a data analyst. You're not some crazy stockbroker. Maybe you're just a consumer. You like consumer. From a consumer electronics perspective, how is CES making a difference in your world? How is some of the technology? You know, I know Samsung, Qualcomm, as well as Google came together and said, you know what? Well, we're three big majors. We've already worked together in the past, creating Snapdragon, creating all these different softwares. Why don't we really align the right way and start going into now the augmented reality space? Let's get into that, and let's get into ASI on a different scale, because we can make it more consumer. They're coming out with wearable glasses now that just look like a normal pair of Ray-Bans, similar to what Meta did, but that will have now the full AI integrations within it. So you can be walking around asking questions already ahead of the game. Basically AI connected, as Neuralink is. By the way, side note to Neuralink, Elon Musk reported by the end of 2025, he's going to take 1,000 people, and implant Neuralink into their head. That's crazy. That's crazy. I made a joke to my girl. I was like, babe, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna sign up for it. She's like, you will not. I was like, of course I'm not. And I was like, I didn't even get the vaccine, let alone putting a microchip in my head. Like, think about that for a second. But it's an interesting world that we live in, gentlemen. And I want us to really, really understand that, because I want to explain three things. Three things specifically that have been able to change my course, not only over the last 3 years of moving to the United States, but of course, the last decade that I've been at this game. I understand that it's a long game. And when you do too, it helps you and aligns you to know that it's not about that instant gratification. It's about knowing and positioning yourself correct. Now, this is going to sound a little fluffy, and I'm going to preset this for a second because it is going to sound a little fluffy. But the first thing that I want to share with you is something that really has, again, expanded my thinking, is you have to believe it's possible. Like, you have to believe it's possible, and you have to get out of your own way. What do I mean by that? Zeros are just zeros. I understand that if you add a zero, 100,000 can turn into a million. A million can turn into 10. 10 can go into 100, and 100 into a billion. But the key thing to remember here is that if you start to align the energy output and the energy input, you'll know what I mean. Now, why do I say this? How do I say this? Let me give you an example. When I started to change the way I think, Sid actually was a very big part of that. So thank you, Sid, for just being an incredible source of energy, right? Sid and a couple of other incredible mentors of mine really have been saying to me for a while, Jay, you got to play a bigger game. Jay, you got to play a bigger game. Jay, you got to play a bigger. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm playing the biggest game I can, man. But I still wasn't. You see, what happened was, even recently, I put the energy out there and started thinking about 100 million, 500 million. Okay, Elon Musk is 500 billion. Okay, add some. Just gathering my thoughts around the numbers. 100 million, 500 million, trillion, billion, trillion, billion. Just starting to say that out loud. It's so fascinating. Fascinating on when, again, you start to put that energy out there, what happens? It's just like when you're looking, when you say, hey, you know what? Go for a drive to work and just look at all the cars that, you see. But if I tell you, hey, look for all the red cars that you see, guess what's going to happen? You're going to point them out. The same way that your RAS, your reticulating activating system inside your brain, will react is the same way that you position right. So what did I do? I started talking about $100 million deals. Guess what happens? Last week, I shared one. One of our clients, $30 million company, wants to scale to 200 million. We're positioning right to help him raise capital and position now for 2025 for him to do at least a house every month. Boom. Next one. This afternoon, got off the call. 10-minute call. Tells me he's raising 110 million for a hotel. Over 5 projects in Austin, Texas. 100 millions are not sounding so small anymore because it is possible. But as soon as I gave myself the energy and space to do so, it started to unlock the possibilities of what the deal flow is. So the first and foremost is what I want to say is just, you have to start to expand your thinking, especially when we're talking about $32 trillion being passed down through this wealth transfer. $32 trillion is a lot of money. And I'm saying a fraction of that could dramatically change the course of anybody's life. So when it comes to believing, when it comes to thinking, it's like going back into that cycle of thought that I always talk about. Right? You have to act first, you have to see the result, and then you get to be reinforced. Sorry, thought comes first, action comes second, result comes third, then the belief is reinforced. Everything online nowadays is all like believe, have the momentum, you can't believe first. But what you have to do is you got to put the action in. How do you put the action in? The action now is put down to something simple. You got to move. I did one simple thing different just in this 2025 year that changed my year so far. I dedicate 1 hour a day to finances. So for those that are writing down notes right now, write that down. It's probably going to be an annoying hour, I will tell you, but you have to force it. There's so many times that we overlook our finances and we just put it on autopilot. We're like, no, it's going to work. It's going to work. When I get the next money, the next money's going to come in and then I'm going to invest it over here and then I'm going to put it over there. And then we're going to, shit, I'm back to zero again. Oh shit, and I got to build it back up again. And we're just in this constant cycle because we're not actually spending the time and effort to manage ourselves personally when it comes to finances. It's an awkward, embarrassing topic. And the only way that we've ever been learned or taught finances has been because of our parents. Until you went out there and actually went and blew money, spent money, got broke, and ended up in the dead end, not knowing how you're going to get that cab home, whatever that might be, until that point hit, that's when okay, I should learn more about this. And oh, I do get paid, but where does this actually go? So I just did this one thing of 1 hour mandatory, no matter what. It's like a part of my routine in the morning now. It's like going to the gym. You have to put in the reps. You got to put in the mental reps as well too. Change the course of how, again, I'm attracting capital, but more importantly, attracting the people around me that have the deal flow. That's the key thing. That's the key thing is leveraging a group like this, gentlemen. We're all together here. We all have different opportunities. My guy, Felipe, can be sharing some incredible opportunities that in Brazil. Sonny can be sharing some incredible opportunities in Australia. We have a globalized group of men that want to succeed. The more we start communicating about this, the more that we're going to start positioning correctly. And the second thing is this. Look, raising capital is interesting. I've shared this before, but I want to share this again. Raising capital is very interesting because raising over $1 million is actually a lot easier than raising under $1 million. Yeah, funny enough. Raising over $1 million, you are dealing with a sophisticated investor. Raising under $1 million, you're dealing with somebody that saved up some money that wants to be an investor. So what that person under $1 million is going to do is going to watch their money like a hawk. They're going to watch that money like a hawk. But the person that's over $1 million, that person is a sophisticated investor that can understand, I only need 3 things. I want a return on my money. I want to know how my money is secure. And I want an exit plan. Simple. What's my return? What's my security? And what's my exit plan? If you can answer those 3 things very simple to an investor, that's the recipe to raise money. Of course, some good communication skills and learning how to build rapport and being just a good human being obviously help. But at the end of the day, from a technical, fundamental standpoint, those are the only 3 things that you need to address. So if you know this, it's about positioning that now within your network. How are you able to raise capital for projects that are on the go? Now, you might ask me and say, Jay, well, I don't have a project on the go. Well, that's awesome. Because again, that's the point of learning the connection part. That's the point of being a part of a group like this. That's the point of opening up deeper conversations and getting into the right rooms with the right people to have the right conversations. A key thing is get into the, I would say this, sourcing deals with somebody that knows how to vet deals, like a mentor, is the ultimate recipe to success. Like what we'll start doing in some of these calls is I want a couple of you lions, especially my VIP, like my long-term lions, my real champion lions that have been with me, that have even been private clients. I want you guys to bring deals. Like Ben, I want you to bring deals. I want you to bring deals on the call and let's vet some of these deals. Because there's people selling you guys everything. I know it because they sell me too. But which ones do you choose? Well, why don't we get a team of experts on a call like this to be able to actually give 2 cents on opinions? I'll tell you, some of the guys on the call right now, if we got their opinions, they'll tell you how to scale to 10 million, 100 million right here on this call. and that's what we do here in the Lions Den. But I want you guys to really understand that, like, raising capital is not so difficult, right? It's a very simple thing. It's not easy, I should say. It's simple though. The steps are quite simple. So I want you to open up your thinking and your mindset when it comes to like, hey, how would I be able to get that next 50,000, that 100,000? Like, what would I got to do to it? It's like, you could raise it. You could raise it. One of the same friend that I was telling you about that buys and sells businesses, man, like he's just like, yeah, he's like, we're raising the equity on it. He's like, we usually go in and usually the equity is raised by the actual person selling the business. Like he had a guy, he had an HVAC business. He was like in his 70s. He wants to retire now. He wants to sell, but he doesn't have grandkids or kids to give the business to. So he was just like, oh yeah. So he's like, I just want to exit out of it and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, but like the down payment was a bit aggressive on it. And he's like, well, why don't you just sell or finance it? Like, I'll just pay you, and like it's your business anyways, and then the bank will fund the rest of it, and we're golden. Boom, took the business. Now he's buying 3 more HVAC companies. He's going to put the HVAC companies together and he's going to sell as a portfolio to someone else. Like, all again in the flipping game of businesses now. Like, this is a whole different atmosphere and energy once you start putting that out there. What I'm going to do is this. Give me 1 second, guys. I went live a little bit on Instagram because we're testing out some new stuff here. But the third and final thing that I want to talk to you guys, now I want to open up the chat because I want us to all start talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. Crypto, real estate. Let's start getting into the nitty gritty of like where you guys can be positioned and what are some of the challenges that you guys are having. But the third thing is like, know your market. Start to understand your market. And when I say market, I mean, what market are you in? Sure. Like if you're in real estate, for example, start to understand cap rates. Start to understand like the NOI calculation. Start to understand per square foot. Start to understand what you are actually speaking about. If you're in stock market or in crypto, start to understand fundamental and technical analysis. What is fundamentals? How do I look at a company and look at the health of a company and understand where that company is actually profitable? And of course, the technical analysis using charts, data, Fibonacci retracements, MACD charts to be able to now analyze historical data to position you correct for what future moves are going to be. Of course, from an analysis standpoint, nothing guaranteed. And even the luxury game, like understanding watches, understanding purses. Now, my fiance's gotten me all on this purse. She's like, Jay, you're all good about these Rolexes and you think they're good investments. So like, can't I get some purses too? I was like, baby, slow down. You just got the ring. Let's calm down, breathe right now. Let's breathe. Slow and steady. The ring was a big one. That's good. And I'm good for like a little bit, But my point being though, is like luxury goods are interesting because luxury goods are sold to wealthy people. So you're selling to somebody that already has the financial capability of doing that. That's why investing is very interesting. Because if you can attract somebody over $1 million, over $10 million, you're bringing in the right type of person that understands the risk and the reward. Not somebody that's trying something out, not somebody that's on their upcoming, which is also good because we all are. We're all on our up and coming. We all are at our own different levels doing what we need to be doing. But if we apply some of these principles and we start to understand that raising capital is about knowing your market and being positioned with it, what does that now mean? That means learn the jargon. One of the most key things that I did to be able to learn how to walk into my accountant's office, my lawyer's office, my realtor's office, whichever professional I was dealing with, is I just started to learn jargon. Because jargon positions you enough to know the basic terminology and literacy. And when you can do that, you learn from the smarter people. You learn from the professional. I was able to understand statement of claim and a statement of defense and knowing that I got sued for 1.3 million. But once I walked into the lawyer's office and I said, okay, how are we going to present our statement of claim? They look at me, they're like, oh, he knows a little bit about this, doesn't he? This guy's a smart guy, this guy. Yeah. Okay, we're going to position your statement of claim. So yeah. So what's the statement of defense then? Oh, okay, makes sense. In my head, I'm already piecing it together. Oh, okay. Okay. And then I'm learning from the professional. Like even a quick little example is I during that $1.3 million lawsuit for a case where I invested $200,000 with this lady to build out a business and she ended up going under and then suing me. It's craziness. But regardless of it, it was interesting because during that case, again, professional advice, I decided to hire a different lawyer at $850 an hour to vet my current legal team strategy. So I just hired him because I couldn't afford him fully. It wasn't really worth the cost, to be honest. And it was very, very expensive versus my guys that were at about $450 an hour, right? So it literally doubled the cost. But I hired him for 1 hour, just 1 hour, sat there, presented him my whole legal team's plan. I was like, yeah, this is what my legal team is doing right now. Are they doing correctly? After an hour, spending $850, very well spent by all means. He's like, no, I would have done this a little bit different, but overall, they're on the right track. That's called getting professional advice. And the only way to get professional advice is to start to learn the jargon that you're in. Felipe, when you're talking music now to the people that you're connecting with, you're in the industry. So you're now speaking that jargon, you're understanding that. That's positioning you to learn more about it. Learn more about the equipment, learn more about different ways to connect, different ways that you can do things. So speaking and learning the communication is so vital, especially in this world now where everyone is fake selling bullshit. Like there's AI that I honestly, this one picture of this, they had like this carousel of this woman And there was different pictures. She's sitting in front of her house. She's in a bikini. She's doing this. She's doing all AI generated. I'm like, that's mind boggling. It looked like literally like a real human being. There is so much fake stuff out there. So if we can get calculated and clear with understanding how to connect the right way with the right people, learn the right information, that information could set us free. We take it from the expertise of the Lions on the call, gentlemen, and you know, enough said. You know, I'm here to just show up every single week like I do, because this is what I truly believe that more men need to understand. And one powerful thing you said at the end that I want to just reiterate is, you know, we've all left the fucking egos at the door. We've all come onto this call without egos, without giving a fuck if you're worth 10 million or worth negative 10 million. It doesn't really matter. When we jump on this call, we get to just really bring in our expertise, our experience, different things that we've been able to go through and enhance one another as brothers. And that's where I'm really going to kind of put it to rest for today. I know we got about 5 minutes left, but I think this is a good ending. And that was a good way to just calm it down, because I just want to say and end with thank you. Thank you for believing in yourself. Thank you for believing in the Lions Den and continuously pushing forward. Showing up here an hour every single week is challenging. Trust me, take it from the guy that hasn't missed 2.5 years. It's challenging regardless of travel. But I show up because I'm committed to the success of everyone else. Because the more that we pull together, the more that we start to understand the contact base, the capital that we have sitting on this call alone is probably 50, 100 million plus. Just right here, sitting here, let alone if we actually expanded even further and went into our power bases and started to actually accumulate more. Of course, this comes down to us being unified. So again, gentlemen, lions on the call that are roaring and the kings that you deserve to be. I will see you next week, 8 p.m. EST on the Lions Den. And before I go, I want you to think about this. Trump is coming in. Things are about to move. Are you positioned correctly? It's not just about what the word wealth means now. It's how big do you want it and how big do you see it for yourself? Gentlemen, Lions, God bless. Take care. I will see you next week.